pod. You want to tell everybody who we have today? I'm excited. I'm going to tell everybody. We.R.losing.it. Justy and Steph, say hello.
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 That was like in stereo. You got it pretty good. On the same wavelength.
We're practically twins,
Um,
so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
and you guys live in a similar region? Do you live in the
No,
same?
I moved and I left her.
She moved and she left me. So we used to live in Charlotte. We actually met years ago. She lived in Tampa, and then I moved to Tampa and she left me. And then I moved to Charlotte, and then she moved to Charlotte, and then she left me. So I think there's a theme going on there.
And to the extent that you're comfortable sharing to the whole world, where do you live, Steph?
Yeah, I live in Delaware.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
And I do now. It's all coming back to me. I did know all of that from a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So um, we are. It's holiday time, so let's talk about holidays and eating. Why don't we do this? Because I'm putting the wagon in front of the horse, as they say. Tell us, give us each, in just 30 seconds, a minute, your background, right? Both bariatric patients. Is that
I'm
accurate?
not.
Not
That's right. Okay,
No.
Justin. Okay.
so yeah,
So,
Justy's non-surgical and I am
Right.
but,
surgical.
but there's a weight loss journey for both. So if you would share, just a little background, pounds that you've lost, how you feel, how you felt then, um, whatever you want to share in a moment. Notice.
Okay. Go ahead, Justy.
Okay, so yeah, I lost. Well, my highest weight that I remember weighing was 318 pounds, but I think I weighed more than that at some point. I'm about right around 200 right now because I just had skin removal, so I'm a little bit swollen. But I lost my weight through just mindset changes and exercise and modifying my diet, and it took me a long time. I think it took me, I mean, well, my whole life, right? But I lost the weight, and I've been in maintenance now for almost 2 years. And for my job, I run restaurants. Right now, I run a hospitality company that is a bakery. So that's a challenge. But so yeah, that's my journey.
Okay.
Wow. Very
Yeah.
good. And congrats.
And
Thanks.
so I am similar to Justy. My highest was 311. I am shorter than her. That was the highest I saw on a scale. I never wanted to get back on after that. I battled it like Justy. We did challenges together, trying to, lose, being mindful, that kind of thing. And then it was New Year's Eve of 2019. I had enough and I decided I was going to take the easy way out. I was like, I don't even care if it is the easy way out. I'm doing it. I'm tired of this. So I did it. I went and I had a consultation for weight loss surgery. Wasn't sold on it until about halfway through the nutrition classes. And then I thought, you know what, this is for me. And I wanted to go forward with it. And I did. And I have been in maintenance for about the same as Justy. Where I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I think we hit our goal and began to maintain right around the same time. And so yeah, that's it. And I'm married, two stepkids, and so that's my challenges fall there with having others in the house that like to eat regular food.
Right. So that was my next question. What is uh, what is the current relationship with food and in your lines of work, in your households? Are there challenges? Justy, you went first, so and you run bakeries, so
Yeah.
please, I
So
call upon you first.
I would say I do have some challenges. I do have 5 bakeries that are French inspired. We also own a bread factory. So there's that. So that is definitely a challenge. I also live alone. I'm single and my kids are grown. I'm a grandmother. So
Nice.
I guess my challenge, which it could be a challenge or not. I don't have to worry about anybody cooking for anybody or making anybody else happy, but I also don't have anybody to help me be accountable. So it's just me. At night when I'm having cravings, I don't have that person here that I can occupy my time with or whatever, because I still do. struggle with cravings. Now I've learned and taught myself how to work through those through just positive self-talk and different little tricks that I've learned along the way, but it's still there. And when I'm lonely, when I'm stressed, I'm a little stressed all the time because of my occupation. But I've just learned I still have the same struggle with food, but I've learned to manage it over the years. So
Okay. And
Yep.
Steph,
And
tell us about the household
yeah, so
or
for
work as well. But
yeah, I mean, it's a combination for me because I'm literally like, I'm sitting at my desk now, and if I'm not in a unit working with food, I'm writing about or putting training material together, and I'm like, ooh, that burger looks good, or oh, that dessert looks delicious, you know. So it's constant, like my brain is constantly the same as Justy, always revolving around food because it's our business. So that's hard. But same, and it took, you know, after having weight loss surgery, I thought I'm gonna have this surgery, they're gonna cut my stomach, all is gonna be right in the world, not realizing that it's up here. It wasn't really, never really did have to do with my stomach, somewhat, but a lot of it is mental. And so even after surgery, I had a little bit of regain, and I had to do the hard work to really get the weight off and then keep it off and know that I have to do the same thing as talk myself through cravings and things like that. And so, you know, for work, it can be hard, especially because I travel. When I'm working in a unit, I'm traveling, which means I'm eating out at restaurants. And so I have to, you know, I'm in a new city, new restaurant, and you want to try all the things, but my stomach is this big, so I can't try all the things. And then also, that's what got me here in the first place. So I have to like talk myself through that. And then just having, you know, kids, especially, they're my step kids, but one of them is here the majority of the time, the other one here for holidays and whatnot. So during holidays specifically, there's cookies and there's pies and there's all the things in the house because I'm not going to restrict everybody else because you know, it's much easier to just not have it in the house, but I can't really do that to everybody. So then I have to just know that it's in moderation and like that I can have some, but I can't have all. I can't go in there and kill a whole pie, but I can have a piece of pie. So there, you know,
so,
conversations like that that I just have to talk myself through it.
and speak to how difficult is that? Because I love carbs and sweets and junk and stuff like that. You know, my wife, who I think you may have met her stuff,
yeah.
but you know,
Yeah.
she can uh, bring home chocolate bars or chips and have a little 1 inch piece of chocolate each night and make the frickin' bar last 10 days and the bag of chips lasts for 2 weeks. And I don't know what it is that ignites that thing in me. For me, it's hard to say, I'll take a bite of whatever, or you know, a little half a slice of pie or something. Um, with that exposure, each of you, is it difficult? Is there a physiological thing or psychosomatic where you know you battle? Like it's the first time I ever. I'll rewind. I'm loading this up and kind of personalizing it. So I was trained. I was super Mr. Fitness, right? Um, and I don't train people anymore, so I feel that the what's it called? The accountability is a little relieved, right? Nobody's hiring me. I don't have to look like this stunning Jack LaLanne, Jillian Michaels, or whoever the cool one. You know, I went from 1955 to 2005. I guess there's somebody new now, but I don't know who it is. Um, but yeah, suddenly I feel like, okay, I guess in that period, I would like almost have nothing ever. I would just be the guy. I wouldn't eat a bite of my own birthday cake. Probably not the best mental health because you end up real grumpy and nobody wants to give you a birthday party anymore. But now
Yeah.
I'm like kind of the other way. Like, I'll have a little piece. I'll have four little fucking pieces. And so then it's kind of like, okay, you really just had a giant piece. Um, do you find the challenge there to have the portion control?
I
And it's
do.
fine if you don't know, you're
I
crazy. That's your problem.
I do because I have a full stomach, right? So I can physically eat more than people that have had bariatric surgery. But like I said, over the years, and I'm not perfect. There's days. I mean, we were testing chocolate chip cookie whoopie pies today, and
Mm.
I ate them. But what
Right,
I've
right.
done that was very successful for me during my weight loss journey was I plan my food every day, I write it down, and I keep that promise to myself. So if I don't write down that I'm eating a cookie today, I just don't eat it. But if I'm craving a cookie or craving sweets for a few days, I will put it into my plan and it's okay. So that's what I had to do is learn to keep a promise to myself, a promise to work out, a promise to eat healthy, and not go to bed every night saying I'm going to do better tomorrow and so tomorrow not do better. So I just decided I keep promises to my friends and my family and my employees. Why not keep the promise to myself? And so that's what was my big mental change. Now that I'm in maintenance, it's like I need to align what I'm doing today with what I want most in life. And what I want most in life is to be healthy and feel great. And so, that cookie or that, pie isn't aligned with that. Sometimes you make the decision that's not aligned with that, and that's okay, but not doing it at such a pace that we used to do it before, definitely. I mean, maybe once a month I might instead of every other day.
Right. And Steph?
Yep. And it's pretty much the same for me. I don't necessarily write anything down, but it's just a lot of conversations with myself about, like, I'll stand in the pantry and look at it, and I look at all the things, and there's, my daughter's snacks are there, and I'm like, that Oreo looks really good. And then at the end of the day, it's like cookies are my thing for sure. I love cookies. End of the day, if I'm gonna eat a cookie, why make it a damn Oreo? Like, you can
Right?
do better than that. If I'm gonna eat a cookie, I'm gonna eat something better than an Oreo. Don't get me wrong, I love Oreos, but I just feel like if I'm going to have, like, I'll talk myself through in that sense. Like, if you're gonna have it, let's like bake a real cookie. Let's like do better than that. So I have to like have those conversations with myself. And I have, similar to what you were saying, I have, my husband has been fit his whole life, and he is that guy who can buy a king size Snickers, eat a quarter of it, and make that bitch last for 4 days. And I'm like, that king size would have been gone in 5 minutes. I can promise you that if that was mine. But I look at him, I'm like, how do you do that? Or like a pack of peanut butter crackers. They come in six to a pack. He'll eat two and put the pack down. He does it with, listen, I've given him shit. He's done it with dive bars before. I'm like, you eat that dive bar. You don't waste the dive bars, bro. Because he'll take a couple bites of it and he'll just fold the wrapper over and put it on the counter. I'm like, no. And I get like a Ziploc baggie out and I wrap it up. I'm like, you save that for later. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. Steph, tell us about for folks, I don't know, who may listen at home and doesn't, really know the bariatric, both the surgical process and then kind of the lifestyle that follows. And you have to get too anatomical and surgical, but like you said earlier, stomach is like this big. So what is the experience? Do you just not have your appetite when that small stomach is full? Because I've heard of folks maybe eating too much and feeling terrible or being sick. So what's the whole kind of uh, life with a smaller stomach like?
Yeah, so you definitely you still get hungry. They lied to me and they told me that when they cut out your stomach, they cut out the hunger hormone, and they do, but it comes back. So whatever, I don't know the science behind it, but they cut that portion of your stomach out, but it does come back. So in the beginning, you're not hungry. In the beginning, you can only eat. I used to prep into little excuse me, when I was in puree stage, because you have to eat in stages. Excuse me, I used to prep in little 4 ounce mason jars. And that was my meal, a 4 ounce mason jar of pureed food. And so you eventually, as your stomach, because it's quite swollen after you've had surgery, as the swelling goes down, you are able to take more volume in and you're able to eat more solid food. And in the beginning, it's almost like, what did I do? Excuse me. It's like, what did I do to myself? This is all I can eat. It's never going to be the same anymore. You start to have the remorse. And then as time goes on and you could eat more and you could eat more regularly, and I'm a little over 4 years out, and you can eat more and you can eat normally. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It's like, okay, I eat like a normal person. Justy and I eat the same food. When I lived in Charlotte, we meal prep together. We eat the same food. She could just have a larger volume, and I have to eat smaller volumes multiple times a day because I do stop. To stop when you're physically, you've had enough and you're not quite full is the goal. And you can still sense that. At 4 years out, I can sense that. So Justy might have a cup and a half to 2 cups of food, for example, where I might have just a cup to a cup and a half, depending what it is. It depends if it's a bunch of, if it's a salad, the lettuce isn't filling me up, but the grilled chicken that's on it is. So it's like I'm still only eating 3, 4 ounces of grilled chicken with whatever else I'm having. Whereas Justy might have 3 cups of lettuce, I might just have one. Or I might just have 3 ounces and she's having 4 or 5 ounces of chicken. So we eat the same food. I don't have any restrictions to food or anything like that. I'm lucky. I know some people do. But in time, the hunger comes back, the volume that you can eat comes back, and I'll hear people say like, "Oh, I have no restriction," and so I try to have the polite conversation with them. Do you really have no restriction, or are you just eating what they call slider foods or junk? Because I could eat a whole bag of chips, no problem, but I couldn't eat that volume in grilled chicken. You can't do it. So it depends what you're eating, the volume. So you just have to balance. If you balance your meals out and you put protein first, you'll get full the way that you're supposed to. It's when you don't balance and you're eating your carbs first before your protein. You don't meet your protein goal. And I'm not saying carbs are bad. Justine and I love us some carbs, and there's a space and a place for them, but I always put protein first. And I think I was told somewhere through one of the dietitians in the community, 3 bites of protein to every 1 bite of other. And so I kind of stick with that rule.
All right, good. Um, this will be for both of you. We'll throw it to Justy for a moment. Tell us your background, Justy, in terms of your relationship with your weight. Always carried weight. Some people, I was the track star. I was perfect weight, and I did this and that, and then one day, whatever. But please, let us
Yeah.
know about you.
So I started. I was always a big girl, so I'm 5 foot, almost 5'10". So I'm tall, and I've always been chubby. Never been the skinny girl. I remember in middle school, I used to have to shop at the Pretty Plus because at Sears, they have a whole section for us because I didn't fit in, normal kid clothes. And then I remember being 200 pounds in middle school. Like I just remember somewhere being weighed. I think my mom wanted me to go on Weight Watchers or something like that with her. And they weighed me and I was 200 pounds. So I remember being 200 pounds at 13. I had 2 children very young. So I had 2 kids by the time I was 20 years old. And with both of those pregnancies, I gained quite a bit of weight. And then throughout the years, I just slowly gained more without really realizing it. Being in an unhealthy marriage, abusive marriage, not thinking a lot of myself for many years of my life, really took a toll on me. I also was in the restaurant business, so we were always eating and we were always drinking and we were always making bad decisions. And so it wasn't until my career, I got rid of the husband, and then my career elevated to a point where I was now with people who weren't in the trenches of unhealthiness, if that made sense. So I moved to the corporate office of our company and I was around healthy people, and it was just a whole different environment. And that's when I really learned how important I was and how slowly to take care of myself, and that there are people out there that live a healthy life instead of kind of that restaurant industry crew that I used to hang with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, very much so. And Steph, what's your background and your relationship with your weight?
Very, very similarly, I was a chubby kid. um, I tell this story often that so I'm the youngest of four, and my sister that's a year and a half older than me, she and I are very close. Her nickname was String Bean, and mine was Beaners. So you get the visualization there. I was the chunky one, she was the skinny one. And so it's, that was just, I was just the chubby kid, and it wasn't. I think back then it wasn't treated the same way. Same thing. I went to Weight Watchers with my mom, and String Bean went as well. The three of us went. We played racquetball together. We had gym memberships. We were active. I played softball. I played basketball. I played field hockey. Never, Justy's the same way. Never could call either one of us lazy. I mean, we
No.
hustled. We still hustle. And that just wasn't. It wasn't it. It was the relationship with food that we had. And a very early on memory that I have is it was Mother's Day. We were at my grandparents, my dad, cousins and stuff. Dads gave us money, go walk to the corner store, pick something out for your mothers. I spent mine on candy for myself and bought my mom like something small. And then I had some guilt after, and I think it was like my grandfather was driving by, and I was like, oh, he's gonna see me with all this candy, and I took it and I like tossed it over a fence. So it was that very like hidden food
Shameful.
thing. Yeah, like I would
Yeah.
hide it. Like
Hmm.
like my dad's not dumb. He knows how much money he gave me, and I come home with a Snickers bar from my mom. Where's the rest of where's the rest of the $10 I gave you back in 1982? Like it goes further than that. So, um, you know, so there was the hiding and the shame, and that carried over as I got older. And similarly, if I was in a relationship or lived with somebody, I would try to like hide or like hide it in the trash can or something like that, as if like or I don't know, you just there
That's
was a
not.
lot of
That's
hiding and shame.
we would lie to ourselves so
Yeah,
much,
yeah,
and I did the hiding the food as well. I was just lonely as a kid. My parents were divorced, and I just spent a lot of time on my own, and food was my comfort. And then when I was in a bad marriage, food was my comfort. When I was a struggling single mom, food was my comfort. But then I felt so ashamed of my body and the way that I looked that I hid all of the feelings about myself, and I portrayed being a very confident woman. Because when Steph first met me, she's like, "Who's this bitch?" Because
I did not like her. I
I
was like,
was
who is
loud,
this?
confident, very strong woman, and but that was all to hide such insecurities. And now I'm a loud, confident woman, but it's real. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so same. There was just a lot of shame in what we did. And opposite of that for me, like my parents are still married. I have, like I said, I'm one of four children. Justy can attest to a lot of my friends say, "Man, I wish I was in your family," because we're just like almost as normal gets. Like we're kind of boring. And so I didn't have that. I never had loneliness. My sister is a year and a half older than me. We shared rooms together. We're still like inseparable to this day. So I didn't have any of that, but I did have the similar experience that Justy did where food was a comfort for me. And as a child, I knew I wanted to be a chef. And I think it's because of how much I love food. I entered cooking contests with ShopRite, the local grocery store. I did a
Yeah.
cooking contest with them, and as a kid, and I would come home and I would just like bake cookies, or I would love sweets. I would bake like cookies or muffins or whatever, just because love to cook because I love to eat, and so that just spiraled as I got older and just working in the restaurant industry, like Justy said, very unhealthy lifestyle, until one day, same day that I said enough is enough on my weight, is when I really reeled in the drinking. And then 2020 came and COVID, and that really put a kibosh on everything. So it was like you weren't going out anyway, so there you
Mhm.
go.
So I'm going to ask this. From all that I've heard in the last 5 minutes, I'll have to preface this because we're in a ever increasingly sensitive time as we're kind of wedged between. I don't want to say wedged between. Even sounds like, oh, this is annoying to me, or I got to deal with this. I'm just a middle-aged asshole taking it all in and trying to be like, oh, cool, I got this kind of friend and that kind of friend. But we're in this time of obesity being recognized as a disease. Wegovy, Ozempic, the shots, um, the rise of them, right? For lack of more involved language. Um, do you feel, I guess earlier this year I was speaking with friends who were bariatric patients, and there was an emphasis on the disease of obesity. And I wasn't disputing it. It's not my place to dispute that. But I said I was inquiring if there was a food addiction, because you may or may not know my background. They call me Professor Phil. I was a professor to health courses in a community college. I mentioned being the personal trainer. Um, and I was a rock musician amateur in Los Angeles for, as I stated earlier, 2 decades ago. Um, so kind of putting all the pieces together, I see I was certainly exposed to my share of addiction. And even before moving to Los Angeles as a young man, my grandfather was an alcoholic, some gamblers deep in the family, a cousin. So a lot of the stuff that each of you shared, some of the shame, the hiding, the wrappers, and I'm picturing the person hiding the pipe or the needle and stuff. But who am I to say? Do you feel, as individuals, did you ever feel like there was an addiction, or this was a vice, or that almost the food kind of was this son of a bitch demon that had a grip on you? Or you can go, you're making too much of it, dude. There were fucking cookies in the cupboard, and I like cookies. Shut up.
For me, I would say yes, it is an addiction. I absolutely, when I first noticed it when I first started my weight loss, the first kind of weight loss journey. I remember I was 40 years old. I got married to H number two, husband two, and he and his brother lived with me. And the way they the way they ate food, the way they thought about food, the way they prepared food was completely different than me. It was like it was no big deal. It was just, oh, we're going to have dinner. It wasn't like, oh, we get to have dinner. It was just a completely different mindset. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is wrong with me? That I'm always thinking about food. When I finish one meal, what am I eating next? When I'm eating this meal, is there more? It was just always thinking about food. And if that is an addiction, then I would say yes. Now, am I robbing the bank to get Krispy Kreme? No. Right? Am I stealing money from, old ladies' purses? No. So it's not that desperate that, you hear about addictions, but it was something that controlled my life. And it still controls a huge amount of my brain space. And I've just learned to manage it. And I use the tool of my me, and Steph used the tool of bariatric surgery, and some people use a tool of weight loss medications. And in my mind, whatever the fuck works, do it, because it sucks being 300 pounds. Like, it really, really sucks. And so whatever you can do to lose the weight, it's going to help you in every aspect of your life.
Right. And just to speak to, it's funny, the scenarios you depict. Was I robbing the bank? Was I, whatever you might have said, mugging the old lady to get food? Of course not. But it's been a moment since I taught out of the textbook. But textbook definition of addiction is like, you'll continue to do a detrimental action, knowing a consequence, but disregarding said consequence. But the addict will qualify it. So I'm not selling my soul or body for money. I'm not robbing the bank. I'm not, right? We qualify. I'm not doing that thing. So I'm okay. I didn't, gamble the house, so I'm not a gambling addict. I didn't, right? I make it to work every day. I'm not a coke addict.
Right.
Um,
No, and
Steph?
I totally agree with Justy, because, and I don't think I ever thought of it as an addiction back in the day. It wasn't until there's more education about it now. And Justy and I did both. We both used Manjaro briefly before it was a big thing. My doctor, when I went to a doctor, he was like, he recommended it, and I'm like, I don't think I want a needle or whatever. And I thought about something. I was like, well, if he's suggesting it, let me just try it. I'll try it. So I tried it, and then by me telling Justy, she's like, because I was like, girl, I don't think about food at all. like at all. I have to make myself eat when I take this. Like I have to actively be like, "Oh, you have missed lunch. You better go get that." Whereas now working, I'm like, "What's it's only 12. It's not lunchtime yet. Jesus Christ, you know." But while I was taking it, I didn't, it just wasn't there. And she's like, "I kind of want to feel how that feels." And she qualified at the time for it. So, but it was very fleeting. I think
Mhm.
6 months was the most for me, and I think she was three
Like
months
three.
maybe,
Yeah.
because at that time is when it got real controversial, and then you couldn't get it, and then it was a problem, and I mean, it was $25 because we had the coupon or whatever. But this was several years ago when it first came out. Before now, there's Zepbound, which is the weight loss approved version of Manjaro. But yeah, now that I know what I know, and now that I felt how that feels, and I understand now from a nurse that just I got some information from in a hospital that they're trying to approve, Manjaro and Zepbound and that kind of thing for alcoholics because it does
Hmm.
the same thing where it takes the craving out of you just don't crave it. And so
Hmm.
that's something that I heard that I mean, I can't listen, I don't know the logistics behind it, but that's what I was told, and it makes total freaking sense to me because I didn't want to drink. Not that I'm a big drinker anyway, neither of us are. We could take it or leave it, but I didn't want any of that. I just didn't think about any of that. I did not have any cravings, and it was like it was great. It was
It
great.
was, I agree. And it did shut off the cravings, but I've also heard, and I experienced this a little bit. Again, I was only on it for a few months, but talking to other people, it not only shuts down like the chatter, but a lot of people have said it shuts down their joy as well. And I felt that because we get joy from food, we get joy from these things. That's just how my brain works. But it wasn't until we took that I was like, holy shit, is this what like normal people think about every day? Like there was so much room in my brain to think about other things than food. It was quite shocking. But I also, on the other side of that, I'm very stubborn. I want to do it myself. And I was in maintenance, so I didn't need to lose a lot of weight. But I can see where it can be a huge help for some people who need to, use it in the right way. It was great for that 3 months.
All right, yeah, interesting. Like I said, I'm void of opinion. Everybody's story is different. Um,
Mhm.
I want to rewind a few minutes back. Steph, the quote, I believe it was yours. You know, you were not lazy, and you said Justy as well, not lazy. What's the role of like you shared it briefly, but what's the relationship with fitness going back to childhood, teen years, adulthood? Do you work out now? Do you not, what is working out if you do, or exercise? What's the activity level?
Yeah, so yeah, I played all the sports as a kid, all through high school. When I got to college, I was like, "Phew, I don't have to do this anymore. I have to take a phys ed class. I'm gonna take archery because I don't have to run a mile in archery." So that was my thinking about exercise back then. But I also worked in kitchens, and I think you can understand this. It's a hustle, it's a grind. And Justy knows as well as I know to make it as a woman in that industry, you have to run circles around men to have your name
Mhm.
be put out there. And we both climbed that ladder and we both put ourselves into, corporate positions because we ran circles around the men. So we hustled. I exercise. I always had a gym membership, whether I won or not was a whole nother story. But I had that membership. I made that donation, and it was a chore to me. But now, like, I'm kind of pissed. I'm not going to make it to the gym today. I booked a 6 o'clock class today, and I stacked entirely too much on myself today. And I'm like, shit. I'm not like I'm pissed that I'm not going to make it.
Mhm.
So I'm like, it's one of those situations now. It's just the way I think about it now is totally different than how I thought about it before. And it is the fact of finding what it is that you like to do. So
Mhm.
I became a runner, which Justy knows I said you're never going to catch me running. And then I did. And I like it, but I like it to an extent. I think I overdid it and I had to pull myself out of it. And then I've gotten myself more recently into like strength training. And I really like that. So I'm trying to combine the two where a note that I got from Justy's book was do the hour long body pump class, whatever strength class it is, and then go do a mile on the treadmill, whether it be walk or jog or whatever the case, get that cardio in as well. So I try to do that. But now I really, really enjoy these like strength training classes at the gym, and I get mad when I can't go. So I have to talk myself into it half the time, especially if it's early in the morning because I don't want to get out of bed. But then if I don't go, I'm mad.
And
So
I'm the
that's
same way. I played sports, in school. Of course, I was always the one on the softball team who had the tightest uniform because they didn't make them in my size. And I wanted to play volleyball so bad, but I wasn't going to wear the butt huggers, so I couldn't play volleyball because I didn't feel comfortable in the uniform. So that was kind of my thing. Again, running kitchens, basically my whole life. I worked my ass off, but now I teach body pump classes. I'm getting certified to be a personal trainer currently, and I do a lot of strength training is my thing. So I haven't been at the gym for 2 months because I had my skin removal surgery 2 months ago, and I get to go back Monday. So I am chomping at the bit. That is now replaced. I don't want to say addiction because I don't think I'm addicted to the gym because I have to talk myself into it. I never had to talk myself into eating, but that's replaced that like dopamine hit that I would get from like eating. So now it's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym. I hate it when I'm getting there, but once I get there and I do it, I just feel that same feeling of like whatever that I did with used to when I would eat food.
Right. And well, Justy body pump, you said, is that the Les Mills body pump?
It is.
Yeah, it's just for folks at home. It's a cool kind of 30-minute, 45 minutes. It's like a condensed, right, total body with, there's like a
Yeah.
barbell, an
It's
adjustable barbell.
barbell, full body with barbell. You do different blocks. It can be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on your gym. I like to teach the hour because go hard or go home. Um, but yeah,
Right.
so that class is so funny because it came full circle for me. Steph and I used to do it at the Y, and I was like 300 pounds when I was doing that class, and I had to hold on to the bar to do lunges. And I literally remember telling myself, when I lose this weight, I'm going to teach this class. And then last year I got certified to teach, and it was like a full circle. And I felt so proud of myself because, look how far I've come from being like struggling, like almost passing out doing this class to like teaching it and being fine. It was really cool.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, just, like I said, just a conversation. It doesn't have to, you're not under investigation. My 2 cents, uh, I've done everything from be a cardio king to, wasn't really my preference, but there was a time of 6 to 8 months where um, the gym I lived near was actually the North Hollywood Gold's Gym, which is like
Mm.
it might be the second Gold's Gym after like the Venice Beach Arnold,
Wow.
bullshit one. And but it's like it had a bunch of bodybuilder type crowd, and there was cardio machines, but this is it's not a good example to set for people, but like I'm very fussy with the brand of cardio. I don't give a shit about the brand. It's not like I need the Cadillac machine, but some of the ellipticals, I'm a short guy, so the pedaling feels like it's kind of too much, you know what I mean? And some of them feel too short. I feel like I'm on a little, kitty hamster bike. Um, so there was a time that I was like 80 to 100% cardio, and there was a time that it was like 80% bodybuilding, movements, weightlifting, strength training. I will say that getting the strength training in triggers something uh, for me and for a number of my clients back in the day that it maybe not on day one, but after 5, 7, 10 strength training workouts, people leave those workouts going like, I need some protein. Like everything just changes
Mhm.
hormonally. You're like, get the Snickers out of my face. I don't want ice cream. Like we just pumped these muscles, tore up these cells. I need meat, chicken, fish. And so there's kind of a little bonus aspect to incorporating the strength training. Besides, we all need the strength and we all are kind of, well, you two ran around on your feet. Um, I'm in a freaking desk job mostly nowadays, so I feel like, all right, I got to get some, lifting going or I'll turn into veal. But it is nice to go walk out of the gym and be like, hey, I'm ready for,
A dive bar.
boneless burger. Yeah.
Like seriously, I when I eat, I work out in the morning, so I'm a 6 a.m. girl. I eat a banana before I work out. I drink water while I work out, and then I'll usually have a dive bar afterwards. So that replenishes some of my carbs. It gives me some caffeine, and it gives me protein. And so then yeah, that's kind of what I do because I am starving after the gym because I don't eat before I go. I just eat like a half a banana. And so I totally understand what you're saying. And I know Steph works out at night, so she has a different dive
I'm
bar
both.
obsession, but
Yeah, I switch. It just depends on availability because I got, school drop off or school pickup, or it just depends on my schedule, my husband's schedule, if she's with us, if she's not with us. So I would prefer to do the morning class if I can get it out of the way, but if I can't, then I do the night one. But yeah, so that is dependent on when I have my dive bar because I do eat one every day. But like I said, I am a cookie gal. So, and I'm excited to try these new Bakems. I don't know if I could, by then they'll be out. I can say that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
wait,
excited
wait,
to try
wait. What
them.
is this?
I know, Justy. Listen, Justy, your samples started coming to me because you stopped eating dive bars because of gluten. So I got to
Oh,
get them back to you. But
right.
there's a I'll let you could speak to the Bakems, but I saw them and I was like, holy crap, I bake mine all the time
I
anyway.
bake mine, and
Yeah, to make cookies out of them.
I started eating dive bars because Steph loved them and they're delicious. But I had braces at the time, and I could bake these, and they didn't like get all up in my braces, and they were delicious too. So now I still bake them. I actually take them to my. It's funny. I take them to my bakeries, and I'll stick them in the oven, and I bake I bake them and eat
Yeah.
them there. And all my pastry chefs think I'm crazy. So
Well,
Well, thank you both for the, I would call it a shameless plug, but I'm like, this is about them. I don't want to talk about dive bars, but you can talk about dive bars.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
yes, yes.
yeah, the Bakems, the Cliff Notes modified formula, so it's friendly to heat it up because we've been hearing from everybody for years, air fryer, microwave, waffle press, the little mini waffle press. So we played around with just a few dynamics, and they you could cook the original ones. These come out, we feel a little nicer, a little chewier. They're just sort of modified for that. So
Yeah, I can't wait. And they're caffeine free, which is because I don't mind the caffeine. Actually, I enjoy the caffeine in most of them, but sometimes if I want something late, I'm like, damn, I got to eat one of those other bars because I don't have any caffeine free ones on me. So,
I'm the same way. I got the little bite-sized ones that are caffeine free. And that was nice right before bed because it wasn't too much, but it was just something sweet because I get that sweet tooth at night. So, yeah.
right, hits the spot.
yeah.
We are about, I'm gonna guess, I have a timer, 43 minutes, so I'm going to this is what I just like to end with, kind of the fun part of the whole thing. Couple of lighthearted questions, and you can each give us some insight as to who you are and what you enjoy. So, we will go to the music category, favorite band or artist, and then can't stand it, band or artist. Each of you.
Well, mine is, and everybody that knows me is going to know that Miss Dolly Parton is the queen. So that's what I go for. I can't say there's a band or artist that I hate or just don't like. I just don't like real heavy metal or kind of raunchy rap. So anything in between Latin music, whatever, I love all that. But raunchy rap and real heavy metal, not for me. But Miss Dolly's the queen for sure.
And for
Okay.
me, I would say, well, Usher melts my heart. And when I get my Spotify list every year of my top listened to, he's always at the top. So there's that. And that what I just don't like country, and that's Justy's thing. And I can't get behind the twang and my truck and my dog and my woman. I can't do it.
That's one of the only things that we like are opposite on. Like really, she does not like country music, and I
But
love
I'll
it.
listen to her country. If she's driving, I don't have a choice. So
Yeah.
But I want to go deeper. Just you mentioned you love Dolly Parton, and you, Steph, said you don't like country, but Dolly Parton is an older generation of country.
Hmm.
Justy, you do enjoy the modern stuff that kind of has a little bit of the digital beats and, like
I
Steph said, the
I
truck and the
do.
football game and driving through town and
Yeah, I mean, I do. I've been really listening to like Chris Stapleton radio lately. I went to see two Tedeschi Trucks band, so that's more blues recently. So yeah, I like music that just makes me feel something, and Dolly Parton always does. Even though I understand she's very different than, new country, I guess, or current country, but some of it I'm not down with. Like if it sounds like they're rapping, I'm like, just that's not country, but I still like it. It's not, but it's not country to me. So
okay. Um, Here's a good one. Movie theater or home on the TV? Let's say whatever the heck new movie comes out, it's one of these. We had this during the pandemic, but you can day one movie comes out, but you can get it at home. Where do you prefer to see a movie?
I'm home because I don't want to put my pants on.
I think it depends on what it is because like we just saw Wicked and we saw it in the theater in 3D and I can't get that at home and it was great and I would do that again in a heartbeat. But if it's just like a regular old movie, I'm with you. Like I have a popcorn maker. I'll pop my own popcorn.
Hmm.
And I'm okay with being home, but it just depends on like if it's like a blockbuster, like you really want to feel the movie, I'm going to the theater.
Okay. Um, it's been announced. We know where the next bariatric retreat will be. It'll be in New Orleans. I've been several times. Fun city. I do enjoy New Orleans. Or New Orleans, I think the local way of saying it. Um, but both domestic and international, might be over dramatic to say dream vacation. Maybe international is the dream vacation, but favorite city to visit or dream city to visit, both national, domestic, and overseas, international.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
tough.
I mean, we're both pretty big travelers. That's how Steph and I really connected, besides the restaurant business. I've been to about 30 countries, and
Wow.
so I love to travel. My favorite vacation I ever took in my entire life, though, was when I went to Zimbabwe and Zambia, Africa. And I would go back there again anytime.
Yeah.
So Zimbabwe and Zambia, is that what you
Yep.
said?
Yes.
And so a lot of safari or what, you know,
Yeah, so
sell me on it.
one of my best friends, Pippa, is from Harare, Zimbabwe, and she was home, and so I went to visit her. So I got the authentic African experience. We went to Victoria Falls, and we went to a place called Amiri, which is a rhino rescue. Did a safari. I did shopping. We ate food. We went out dancing. It was just a great experience. So, and just a beautiful landscape that is something beyond anything you ever see here. And that's what I really like.
Cool. And Steph?
So for me, I would say I can go two ways here. I love mountains. I'm a mountain girl. I'll take mountain over beach any day of the week. I am going to Alaska on Monday, and I am super, super thrilled about that. The last time I went was great, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. But as far as like international, nothing beat my trip to Ireland. But that was like my family. Like, it was like my parents and my siblings, and it was just like we had a tour guide that bussed us around everywhere, and that was just like an all in, all around beautiful, awe inspiring vacation. But you can take me out west to the mountains, and then we can go north to Alaska because I absolutely love Alaska, and I'm hoping to get there in the summer because I've only been in winter. But I'm okay with that because I have snowshoes. We'll snow hike. I'm looking forward to they'll hopefully I got off the phone today with Parks and Recreation there. We're hoping to do a little ice fishing, but the ice has to be 12 inches before they'll pull the huts out, and it's only 11 right now. But I'm hoping by next
Well,
Friday.
and Steph and I have, well, her and I have both never been horse riding, so I want to plan like a dude ranch type thing where we can have a cowboy call us darling, and we can go ride horses and stay like in a tent and cook food on the fire and stuff like that. Because I think that will be fun.
Yeah.
I love that. So, all right, now I can't let go of the movies. City Slickers. Did we see City Slickers from the like late 80s, I think?
I
No?
didn't. No.
I don't think I did either.
Oh.
Listen, I was raising kids. I did not have a lot of time to watch movies.
I recommend, do you like, kind of feel good 80s comedies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, City Slickers was like Billy Crystal and somebody else. Daniel Stern,
Mm.
the tall bad guy from Home Alone,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
and maybe John Lovitz. But in any case, it's, 80s, in typical 80s fashion. It starts off, everybody has some problem, needs a retreat, hates their middle-aged life, and they end up on a dude ranch, and they're cowboys. And, it's one of those feel good, get in touch with you, who you really are, and air out all the dirty laundry. But they're like, I guess they're in New York City, right? Or something like that. So they're
Now I gotta
City
watch it.
Slickers,
Right now,
and
I
they're
have to
playing
watch it.
cowboy for a week. But they got to really, with the real dude ranch manager, he's like, all right, well, you boys are in luck. We're going to drive these 100 cows across the state. So, like, what the hell? We didn't really want to be cowboys. He's like, get on there, you wuss, we're going. So, if you have time, you're going on a plane ride, you can download City Slickers.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I have that dream of doing like I don't even know what that's called, but out herding cattle or whatever with a bunch
Herding
of
cattle.
cowboys.
Yeah.
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 A cattle run.
Cowgirl.
There it is. I want to do a cattle run.
Cattle
So
run,
yeah.
that's it.
Mhm.
Well, on that note, ladies, it was very fun. We.are.losing.it. We are losing it with a dot between each word. That's the Instagram handle. Have we other platforms as well?
That's really it. I mean, I have my own Instagram, Steph the Shrinking Chef, but we're not really on like Facebook, or we don't tick the talk or anything like that. So
But our podcast is also We Are Losing It, and
Yeah.
we have that on YouTube
YouTube.
and all major podcast platforms. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, we will air this after Thanksgiving, but tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Happy
Yay.
Thanksgiving.
yes.
Happy holiday season to everybody at home.
Mhm.
And thank you both for being on. It's always nice to see you guys.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
See you.
All right. Cut.
Okie dokie.
We did it.
Thank you. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys. It was very fun. And like I said, I'll let you scram into